This is the Impressions Exchange Podcast.
Impressions Exchange Podcast.
Where all topics impacting the graphic imaging and printing industry are addressed via in-depth news coverage, analysis, and timely interviews.
Hi, this is Bob Neubauer, editor of In-Plant Impressions, coming to you from the busy show floor at Printing United Expo in Las Vegas. In addition to all the equipment on the massive show floor, there have been a lot of in-plant networking opportunities this week, like breakfasts, luncheons, and happy hours. So I've been pretty busy talking with in-plant managers all week. And I'm here with one of them now, Chuck Werninger, who is Chief Officer of Print Production and Distribution at the Region 4 Education Service Center in Houston. Glad to have you here, Chuck.
Good morning, Bob. Glad to be here.
So how's the expo been for you so far?
Man, it's overwhelming. There's so many great opportunities to learn. All the major vendors are here. All of our peers are here. There are opportunities to see things running, take samples, to learn, to share. This is an event you can't miss.
Yeah, it's extremely busy. It's been so hard to see it all, especially this hall we're in now where all the apparel printing is and the promotional products. Did you have any time here at all?
I did have a little while. This is not my core focus area personally, right, but it is fascinating. And I do believe it's the future of the business in so many ways. So I'm glad to see so many printers here taking a look at it. I know that many of our in-plant counterparts are taking a good look at this. And I think that's very wisely spent time.
Yeah. We've known each other for a long time, Chuck. You were at the University of Arkansas Little Rock when I first met you, and then you moved to Houston Independent School District. When was that?
Yeah, so that was in 2013. So I was there nearly 11 years. It was a great opportunity for growth.
And one bold move that you carried out there was being one of the first in-plants to add a sheet-fed inkjet press. I think a Canon i300.
Yes, sir. You know, I was a little concerned at the time. We had some equipment that was up for lease expiration. Had to make a decision, and I don't know if you remember, but my concern was whether or not inkjet was really ready. Mm-hmm. I knew that it was the future. My fear was that 5 years later, the game would be over, and if I didn't act at that time, that we were going to miss the boat. And I think I made the right call. That machine proved to be extremely reliable, and it was one of the best things I ever did.
How do you feel it benefited the school district?
It really gave us high volume, great color quality, very low cost, and my mission has always been to provide high quality, affordable teaching and learning materials for students, and that machine was one of the first to really deliver it at a volume band that made sense for an in-plant. It is a big machine, it's an expensive machine, and at the time you had to have a very large volume, like north of 1 million impressions every single month in order to justify it. Now there's some other entrants that make some sense, and there are some better quality options as well.
Yeah.
But that was a great move for us.
And it brought color, right, into curriculum materials. So
well, and what it also did is it allowed me to promise delivering 400,000 or 500,000 full color prints in one business day. What normally was happening back in that day, we replaced a 75 page per minute toner device that would run well, and it delivered great quality. In fact, better color quality than that i300, but it would break down about every 75 or 100,000 impressions. So we would get a job for 200,000 or 300,000 impressions, and even though on paper it really should only take us a couple of days, the reality was that was a 6 or 8 working day job, and it left us hanging. Whereas the i300 came in, and we were producing 250,000 impressions daily. We were going more than 1 million impressions without maintenance. The price was way lower. It was outstanding.
Now you've moved on with your career. Can you answer a burning question for all of us? What is Region 4 Education Service Center?
Sure. So it's a big name. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense. The state of Texas, from education perspective, is divided up into 20 regions. We are the 4th region, and our territory is basically the Gulf Coast, pretty much from Beaumont down to Galveston, over to Katy, Waller, Hempstead. It's a very large territory. It basically means we provide services and supports for the 89 local education agencies, which are basically school districts and public charter schools along the Gulf Coast. So we provide support. We do not educate teachers, but we help principals, we help superintendents, we help school districts operate more effectively and efficiently.
Well, what motivated you to move there?
Well, so I became aware of a fantastic opportunity. The state of Texas, the Texas Education Association, issued a very large grant to Region 4. And the grant was created because they had made an investment in a low-cost open education resource teaching platform. And then they rewrote the curriculum and they published this content. And they were looking for an in-house service to serve the needs of printing those textbooks for the entire state.
Mm-hmm.
So then the legislature created some special funding that said any school district in Texas who wants to use this curriculum, they can download the files and print it themselves royalty free. The state owns them. They can also download the files and send them to a commercial print provider. So there are a couple of options, but the incentive money, the state money that is available to help offset the cost, is only available if they will order through the official state channel. And all of those orders are going to come to this operation that I've been hired to build.
Oh.
And so they're telling us that in the first year, we're expected to do north of $100 million worth of textbooks. And in future years, we're going to do $600 to $800 million a year worth of textbooks. It is an outstanding opportunity.
Wow.
I had to move. And I love my team at Houston ISD. It was hard to leave, but it was a career opportunity of a lifetime, and I had to go. And I'm very thankful that they gave me this opportunity.
Wow. What are your goals there?
Well, so first and foremost, the schools that choose to adopt this curriculum material will place their orders. It will happen in next spring, will be the first year, and we'll have to deliver the first school year worth of textbooks next summer, so the summer of 2025.
Yeah.
So right now, the operation that is going to produce all of these textbooks has one basic employee, and that is me. Now, I work for a team. There's a lot of people at Region 4 that are going to be involved in this, but I've been hired to build this operation. We don't have a facility, we don't have equipment, and we don't have the people that are going to work in this manufacturing operation yet, but we're going to. Right now, there is an outstanding implant there that I am fortunate to office with. There are 6 people who work in a traditional implant, and they do an outstanding job, and their future is very safe. What we're going to do is build this new thing to solve this state demand that's going to be a completely different enterprise.
Whoa. I bet inkjet's in your thought process for that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So some of the books are going to be 80 or 90,000 copies of high page length items that we will, in the first year, we're going to be outsourcing all of this to commercial providers. But in future years, 80,000 run lengths are probably going to stay offset for a while. And as much as I'd like to bring all of it in, the annual page count in the first year is going to be 3 or 4 billion pages. The second year, they're saying 10, 12, maybe 14 billion pages. So if you get out your calculator, that's a big, big number.
Yeah.
And we're going to need a lot of offset for many years to come. We may never bring all of it in-house. But there are a lot of documents, the Spanish language versions and any possible future other language versions, the teacher copies, the special low circulation subject matters, some of the other specialty items are going to be right in our wheelhouse. And also, we're going to have to make some decisions 6 months in advance about how many copies we need. That's based on statistics. We're also going to have to be able to support the 3,000 copies that exceeded demand. So in-house, we're going to be producing the copies that exceed projection as well.
Are there any school districts within this region that may have their own implant? And if so, would you be taking work from them to print?
So absolutely. So there are 20 education service centers that cover the entire state, and there are lots of implants. And I'm excited about that. I want to see them successful. I believe in them. You guys who know me know that I'm a big believer in the implant, and I want them to remain viable and healthy, and they will. One of them is Houston ISD, the one that I led until 3 months ago. They're still going to be very successful, and I hope to be able to work with them and many other education service centers, the large ones. I would love to be able to do that. but the volume is massive, and I just don't know what this is going to look like long term. It's still too early.
You told me you requested a couple dozen new employees. What's the reason for that?
Well, so right now, if you think about it, we're going to get thousands of orders for books and nobody right now to field them. There's no management information system. We're going to run all of these printing presses. We're going to handle all of the distribution services and the logistics. We're going to use outsourced providers, but we're going to have people to field the calls. We're going to have people to build this enterprise. Building a 9-figure printing plant from the ground up is going to take a lot of people. I like to think I've got a lot of skills, but this is way bigger than me.
Yeah.
And we're going to need a big team. And of course, we're going to have to hit inside of a budget. We're still trying to nail down the operating budget, what that's going to look like. And so there's some details that still have to be flushed out.
Yeah, sure. I know curriculum's a big opportunity for K-12 in-plant, since they can save their districts a ton of money by getting digital files from publishers and printing exactly what teachers need instead of being forced to buy full books. Can you talk more about the benefits of this model of getting digital files and printing them in-house?
Absolutely. So in most every state, there is a clearinghouse that makes available these files. Most of the curriculum materials are royalty-free for purposes of in-house print production. Mm-hmm. It may have a copyright and it may have some sort of restriction, but generally those are available for the in-plant to print for their organization. There's a big difference between owning a commercial print provider and using someone else's content for profit versus being an in-plant. Yeah. And unfortunately, it is incumbent on us in-plant managers to know the difference and to speak that value, because most of the in-plant print center managers who go ask the right questions later find out that the biggest print spend that their school district is making is not called print, it's called curriculum. It's not hiding in the places we would ordinarily look to find in the budget book. It's hidden under education, under classroom materials, and this opportunity is massive. I know that at HISD, we were running a little under a $4 million printing operation, and they were spending close to $20 million a year on curriculum materials. That curriculum materials is print, perfect bound, high quality, cost-effective teaching and learning materials.
Yeah.
And if you ask the right questions, those opportunities exist to drive cost out of the equation. The publishers won't necessarily try to serve this up, but if you go to their website and you talk to their legal teams, it is absolutely within your right to print it for your school district. You just got to know it and do it.
So you lead an informal group of K-12 in-plant managers from all over the country that meets via Zoom calls, and there's in-plants from Texas and Louisiana, North Carolina, Arizona. One issue that's come up at a recent meeting that I attended was that publishers are pushing back now against the idea of having in-plants print their materials. They want the districts to pay them to do the printing. So what's going on, and what can in-plants do?
The central issue is that the markups are very high. Generally, the publishers license the digital content for classroom learning or possibly for one-to-one learning that is optional. And we've all gone through and seen that. So, but the consumable that goes with it is where the profit margin really is. Right. The publishers know that you are within your right to print it yourself, and the markups are so high, it's easy to save your school district money, but you have to ask the right questions. And I would just say to other print center managers, really get to know your curriculum team, earn their trust and their respect, and ask the right questions, because in every case that our group has gone and approached the curriculum team, we've found out that there are other issues. They really want to resequence the chapters, or they want to personalize it, or they want to deliver it on a different timeline. They want to split the book into 3 modules rather than into one book. There are a lot of reasons, but cost is the big reason. Yeah. You can save a tremendous amount of money by bringing it in-house. And I think that in every case, the curriculum leaders are thankful, but they don't know who the print center managers are. So it's really incumbent on us to ask those questions and then to make sure we're prepared to deliver that volume. We can save them money, we can add value, we can solve problems. And this networking group is all growing by leaps and bounds because of that. In fact, there are a lot of in-plants at school districts that are closing every year. And these who are getting it right, who figure it out for their host organization, are also being asked to provide services for these school districts that are closing their print center, because printing is hard. You guys who are doing it right, you've got a phenomenal opportunity to help your school district and to help others. This is more of a mission for me than it is anything else. I really believe in it, and I want to help. If people have questions, I want to help you get to the bottom of it and figure out, in every case, you can print it. As a print center manager, you got to have the right machinery, you got to have the right people, and you got to be prepared, because while it's a huge opportunity, it's also a huge commitment. You can't let school start without those kids having their books. Yeah. And the page volumes are staggering. That's both the opportunity and the responsibility to do your homework and to really check it out. Inkjet opens the doors. You can't get there with toner. It just isn't reliable enough. It isn't affordable enough. It isn't fast enough. That's just the reality. But small school districts, medium school districts who have in-plants, this is a phenomenal opportunity. Just got to ask the questions.
Yeah, and we've seen that a lot with inkjet going into the K-12 in-plants.
Yes.
There's like maybe a dozen I could think of that have inkjet and
yes.
various.
And Bob, you've written some great stories highlighting some of our friends at school districts who are doing this with other equipment. There are several vendors here at Printing United who are showing off machines that are really worth taking a look at, that provide small format, cost-effective inkjet that really hit a variety of price points and make a lot of sense for small and medium school districts. So it used to be that you had to have millions of pages per month or hundreds of millions per year, but you don't need that anymore.
And you certainly got your hands full at Region 4 Education Service Center with some ambitious plans there. I want to wish you the best of luck with those initiatives, and I look forward to doing some articles on your progress in the magazine.
That sounds great, Bob. Thanks for the opportunity.